When San Diegans picture La Jolla, we usually imagine glitzy restaurants, well-appointed luxury homes, and wealthy residents that the rest of us secretly resent for living lifestyles so decadent it makes the rest of us San Diegans seem like a bunch of filthy peasants leading desperate lives of quiet desperation. But it might surprise you to know that La Jolla's most famous feature is also its most often overlooked feature. That's because it's barely visible from land. Just past La Jolla Cove, where the cliffs meet the ocean, are a series of ancient sea caves carved out of a 75 million year old limestone bluff. The caves aren't only La Jolla's oldest feature, they're the reason it got its name. The Kumeyaay Indians, who originally inhabited the region, called this location Matkulahui, the land of holes. It was later renamed by Spanish-speaking settlers who decided to call the place La Jolla, which is Spanish for the jewel. The town certainly got off easy. The settlers could have just as well named the town La Jolla, Holesburg, Holetown, or Detroit. Each of these ancient caves is steeped in myth, legend, and lore, such as the White Lady, which was the spot where a young newlywed couple was swept into the sea back in the 1800s. The mouth of the cave was said to have taken the shape of the Lost Bride, commemorating the sad demise of what is perhaps one of the worst swimmers in San Diego history. Another cave, the Sea Surprise, was so named because, if you kayak in deep enough, it opens up into passages you can walk through while admiring the brilliant orange flowstone covering the walls and ceilings. Although it can only be explored during low tide, which isn't usually the case. So I guess the biggest surprise is the expensive kayak tour company's strict refund policies. Among the other caves are the Little Sister Cave, which is located right next to the White Lady, Clam Cave because it's shaped like a clam, Arch Cave because it's shaped like an arch, and Shopping Cart Cave because they ran out of cave names. But perhaps the most interesting of the caves is Sunny Jim, the only one of the caves accessible by land. Of course, that wasn't always the case. In 1902, Gustav Schulz, an engineer who had recently immigrated from Germany to settle in the region, decided that tourists might just pay for the luxury of simply walking down into one of the caves. For almost 2 years, Schulz tirelessly burrowed upward through the cave, eventually creating a passage up through the bluffs. When it was finished, Schulz began charging admission, and tourists, who we've already established are horrible swimmers, gladly paid for the luxury of exploring a sea cave from the comfort of dry land. It's an attraction that remains just as popular today. This little shell shop, cleverly known as the Cave Store, is now the site of the only entrance to Sunny Jim. And for a fee of $5 or $3 for children, you too can climb down the 145 old, rickety, horrifyingly aged stairs through a cramped, musty, questionably engineered, 100-year-old tunnel that may or may not be structurally sound, all to reach the bottom of Sunny Jim Cave. And here to greet you at the entrance of the cave is Sunny Jim himself. Legend has it that the cavern was named Sunny Jim because the mouth of the cave resembled the British cereal box mascot of the same name. It's also said that the cave itself was named by none other than famed author and rabid cereal enthusiast Frank L. Baum, the man who created The Wizard of Oz. While the tunnel was created as a tourist attraction and continues to operate as such to this day, it has had other uses over its 100-year history. Uses that many might consider extra-legal or awesome. In the early 1900s, the tunnel was said to have been used as a way to smuggle Chinese immigrants who would later go on to construct the Hotel del Coronado, as well as the California Southern Railroad. Later on, during the Prohibition, the cave is thought to have been used by smugglers who snuck highly illegal, yet much-needed alcohol into San Diego. The only downside to coming down to Sunny Jim Cave is having to come back up. Still, it could be worse. When they first built it, tourists were expected to use a rope to go back down and up and whatnot. Maybe in 100 years, some other enterprising German will come in and build an elevator. But until then, wear comfortable shoes and prepare to become overwhelmed by an overwhelming sense of guilt inherent in how out of shape you probably are. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe. If you have any suggestions for further episodes or just want to say something mean, feel free to leave a comment below.
Support for this program comes from the KPDS Explore Local Content Fund, supporting new ideas and programs for San Diego.